5 steps that changed my life. I know, hearing someone say that about homework sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry, right? But trust me on this. Let me take you back to when everything felt impossible.
We've all been there, staring at a blank page, a looming deadline, or an impossibly long reading list. It feels like you're drowning in a sea of tasks, and the more you struggle, the further you sink. That feeling? That's not a sign of weakness, my friends. It's a sign that you care, that you want to succeed. But sometimes our brains need a little help figuring out where to start. We need a life raft, a beacon of hope in the sea of despair. And that, my friends, is exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to break down those overwhelming tasks into manageable steps, turn that frustration into accomplishment, and maybe, just maybe, learn to find a little bit of joy in the process. So buckle up, grab your metaphorical life vests, because things are about to get a whole lot less impossible. Let's set the stage, shall we? Imagine a guy we'll call John. John's your average student, full of potential, procrastination, and a healthy dose of existential dread.
See that look on his face? That's the look of a man facing his nemesis, a massive research paper due at the end of the semester. The topic? The socio-economic impact of the Industrial Revolution on 18th century Britain. Riveting stuff, I know. The problem wasn't the topic itself, not really. It was the sheer scale of it all. It felt like trying to summarize the entire history of the universe in a 5-page paper. Where do you even begin? What if you miss something crucial?
That's the thing about large tasks. They can be incredibly intimidating. They loom over you like a metaphorical mountain, making you want to crawl back into bed and binge watch your favorite comfort show. But John, bless his heart, stumbled upon a secret weapon, the power of breaking things down. He decided to tackle the research paper one step at a time.
First, I outlined the main topics I needed to cover, creating a roadmap for my research. Then, I focused on finding sources for each section, one by one. Suddenly, the insurmountable mountain transformed into a series of manageable hills.
This, my friends, is the magic of breaking down large tasks. It's about transforming the abstract into the concrete, the overwhelming into the achievable. Instead of staring down a monstrous project, you're facing a series of smaller, less intimidating goals.
And the best part? Each completed step, no matter how small, becomes a victory. Checking off items on that to-do list, seeing those blank spaces fill up with words and ideas, it creates a sense of momentum, a feeling of progress that fuels you forward. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and your research paper, as groundbreaking as it may be, won't be either. It's about taking those baby steps, celebrating the small wins, and trusting that eventually you'll reach the summit of that mountain.
Chapter 3, Create a Distraction-Free Zone. So John, armed with his newfound ability to break down tasks, felt a surge of motivation. He sat down at his desk, ready to conquer the world, or at least a good chunk of 18th century British history, but then a new enemy emerged, lurking in the shadows, ready to sabotage his best intentions: distractions. We live in a world saturated with distractions. Our phones buzz with notifications, tempting us with social media updates, breaking news alerts, and messages from friends asking what we're up to. It's a constant battle for our attention, and let's be honest, sometimes those cat videos are just too tempting to resist. But the truth is, even seemingly harmless distractions can derail our focus, turning a 30-minute study session into a 3-hour odyssey of procrastination. John realized that if he wanted to win this battle, he needed to create a distraction-free zone, a sanctuary for his focus and productivity. This didn't require moving mountains or building a soundproof bunker, though wouldn't that be nice? It was about making conscious choices to minimize distractions and create an environment conducive to concentration. He started by identifying his biggest distractions. For John, it was his phone, a siren song of notifications and endless scrolling, so he decided to leave it in another room, out of sight, out of mind. He also realized that his bed, usually a haven for relaxation, was a danger zone for productivity. It was just too easy to get comfortable and lose himself in a Netflix black hole. He decided to relocate his study sessions to the dining table, a neutral space free from the allure of sleep. But creating a distraction-free zone isn't just about physical space, it's also about mindset. It's about setting boundaries, about communicating to yourself and others that this is your time for focused work.
Turn off those notifications, silence your phone, and let your friends and family know that you're in the zone. And if you're working in a shared space, consider using noise-canceling headphones or finding a quiet corner where you can minimize distractions.
Remember, creating a distraction-free zone is an act of self-care. It's about giving yourself the gift of focus, the space to think clearly and accomplish your goals without the constant bombardment of distractions. All right, let's talk about studying smarter, not harder. We've all been there, staring blankly at a page, hoping the information will magically teleport into our brains. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work that way. Passive reading or listening just doesn't cut it. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You might get a few drops in, but most of it just leaks out.
What we need is active learning. It's about engaging with the material, wrestling with it, making it your own. Think of it like this. You wouldn't expect to become a master chef just by reading cookbooks, right? You need to get in the kitchen, chop some veggies, maybe set something on fire, hopefully not.
And the same goes for learning. You've got to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty, metaphorically speaking. Active learning is about creating, connecting, and questioning. Instead of just absorbing information, you're actively processing and understanding it.
So how do we turn passive studying into an active learning extravaganza? Well, my friends, that's what we're going to explore in this chapter. Get ready to ditch the highlighter and pick up some more powerful tools.
One of the most effective active learning techniques is summarizing. Summarizing is about distilling the essence of what you're learning into your own words. When you summarize, you're forcing your brain to identify the key takeaways.
It's like taking a giant, messy ball of yarn and carefully winding it into a neat, manageable ball. And don't underestimate the power of writing things down by hand. Studies have shown that physically writing helps us remember information better.
Unleash your inner teacher by explaining what you're learning out loud.
It might feel silly, but there's a method to this madness. Explaining out loud helps organize information for better understanding.
It's like giving a mini lecture in your room.
If you can explain it to an imaginary audience, you can explain it in class.
This technique is great for tricky subjects like history dates, math formulas, or French grammar.
Explaining out loud creates a memorable learning experience. Sometimes you need to hear yourself to understand.
It's like a field trip for your brain, so don't be afraid to talk to yourself. Your brain will thank you. Okay, so you've broken down your tasks, banished distractions, and embraced active learning. But what about feeling overwhelmed? Enter the Pomodoro technique.
Imagine not being chained to your desk, tackling tasks in chunks. That's the Pomodoro technique.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Work for 25 minutes, then take a break. Named after the Italian word for tomato.
Short bursts of work prevent burnout.
It's like interval training for your brain. Build endurance, maximize output.
Now you might be thinking, 25 minutes? That's barely enough time to check my email. But trust me, when you eliminate distractions and commit to focused work, even 25 minutes can be surprisingly productive. It's like sprinting towards the finish line, knowing that a break is just around the corner.
The Pomodoro technique is particularly effective for those of us who struggle with procrastination. Our brains seek instant gratification, making social media more appealing than challenging tasks.
By breaking tasks into smaller chunks, the Pomodoro technique helps focus on immediate tasks.
Short breaks aren't just for snacks or checking your phone. They're for stepping away, clearing your head, and returning refreshed.
This could involve a quick walk, meditation, or deep breaths.
Set a timer for 25 minutes, work without distractions, then take a 5-minute break. After 4 Pomodoros, reward yourself with a longer break.
And that's it. Simple yet remarkably effective.
Now, I know what you're thinking. John, this all sounds great, but I'm a special snowflake. And you know what? You're right.
The beauty of the Pomodoro technique is its flexibility. You can adjust the work and break intervals to suit your own personal preferences and work style. Experiment with different time blocks and see what works best for you. Maybe you're a productivity powerhouse who thrives on 50-minute Pomodoros with 10-minute breaks. Or perhaps you need shorter, more frequent breaks to stay on track.
The key is to find a rhythm that allows you to maintain focus without feeling overwhelmed.
And don't be afraid to get creative with your breaks. Use that time to stretch, listen to music, do a quick workout, or engage in any activity that helps you relax and recharge. Remember, the goal is to return to your work feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the next Pomodoro.
So embrace the power of the tomato, my friends, and watch as your productivity soars. The Pomodoro technique might just be the secret weapon you need to conquer your to-do list and achieve your goals.
All right, we've talked about breaking down tasks, creating a distraction-free zone, using active learning techniques, and embracing the Pomodoro technique. But there's one crucial element missing from this productivity puzzle: rewarding yourself.
Yes, you heard me right. Rewarding yourself isn't just about indulging in guilty pleasures. It's about acknowledging your accomplishments and reinforcing positive habits. It's about recognizing that you, my friend, are a work in progress, and every step forward, no matter how small, deserves to be celebrated.
Think of it this way: our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. When we associate hard work with positive reinforcement, we're essentially training our brains to crave productivity. It's like Pavlov's dogs, but instead of salivating at the sound of a bell, we're getting excited about tackling our to-do lists.
So how do we effectively incorporate rewards into our productivity routine? It's all about finding what motivates you, what makes you feel good, and what you can look forward to after a productive work session.
Now, rewards don't have to be extravagant or expensive. In fact, some of the most effective rewards are the simplest ones. It could be something as small as taking a break to enjoy a cup of coffee, listening to your favorite song, or spending a few minutes reading a book. The key is to choose rewards that are meaningful to you and align with your goals.
For example, if you're trying to eat healthier, reward yourself with a delicious piece of fruit or a healthy smoothie after a productive study session. Or if you're saving up for a new gadget, put aside a small amount of money every time you complete a task.
Remember, the goal is to create positive associations with productivity. By rewarding yourself for your efforts, you're essentially teaching your brain that hard work leads to positive outcomes. And don't be afraid to get creative with your rewards. Think outside the box and come up with things that genuinely excite you. Maybe it's a virtual coffee date with a friend, a relaxing bath, or even just permission to spend an extra 30 minutes on your favorite hobby. Now, here's the most important part. Enjoy your rewards guilt-free. You've earned it. Too often, we sabotage our own progress by feeling guilty about taking breaks or indulging in things we enjoy. But here's the thing. Guilt is a productivity killer. It drains our energy, zaps our motivation, and makes us question our every move.
So instead of focusing on what we should or shouldn't be doing, let's give ourselves permission to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Remember, self-care is not selfish. It's essential. When we take care of ourselves, both physically and mentally, we're better equipped to handle the challenges that life throws our way. So, go ahead, reward yourself, and do it with a smile on your face. You deserve it. So there you have it. 5 simple yet powerful strategies to help you stay motivated, avoid burnout, and achieve your goals. Remember, it's not about being perfect or pushing yourself to the brink of exhaustion. It's about finding a sustainable rhythm, a way of working that feels challenging yet rewarding.
I won't say it was easy, but those 5 steps gave me something I didn't have before: control. And once I felt in control, everything else started to fall into place.